200 Reserve Officer Training Corps cadets get to business at Air Defense Command's Hamilton Air Force Base. They're not even unpacked, and the realities of military discipline in large doses are begun in a month of concentrated instruction during their summer training camp. There's not a moment to relax from registration to graduation. The first day gets the cadets squared away as far as their temporal needs are concerned. But it's not long before realism rears its ugly head, with, of course, apologies to the tactical officers. An event packed 4 weeks. So packed we couldn't possibly report every event in this short story. But the high point is bound to be the jet orientation ride for each cadet. ROTC supplies the greatest number of new officers for the Air Force. And the summer training units build the necessary discipline which will stand the leaders of tomorrow in good stead when they take their place as commissioned officers in the United States Air Force. A BOAC Britannia, a modern-day Mayflower, brings to American shores the first of many British families who will be colonizing here at Eglin Air Force Base for the next year and a half. It'll be the first British colony in the New World since 1776. These are families of the British Joint Trials Force, who, along with the Air Force Systems Command personnel, will be conducting development tests on the Skybolt air-launched ballistic missile here at the Proving Ground Center. By mid-1963, the RAF says it will have approximately 1,000 British subjects living here at this testing center during the trials of the Skybolt missile. This young bloke waits patiently as his parents go through the rigors of customs. American neighbors make a hospitality visit to one family, bearing some freshly caught Florida fish, which spark a unique reaction. The RAF will be adopting the Skybolt to their Vulcan bomber. Here, a British airman shows his family the B-52 Skybolt combination and explains how Anglo-American cooperation increases the deterrent strength of the free world. This is the aftermath of the worst natural disaster to hit Iran in modern history. 100 times as severe as the quake which killed some 20,000 in Agadir, Morocco in 1960. Over 100 villages completely destroyed. Perhaps no count of the dead is possible. Now, mere existence is torture. Shelter exists only where it can be improvised. The people, injured, shocked, dazed, homeless. The will to survive is here. The desire to rebuild preeminent. But the agony of death, pestilence, and loss frustrates the most simple efforts. Within 28 hours of the initial tremor, C-130s of the United States Air Forces in Europe were coming in to aid the Iranian people. Joining with a dozen other nations offering immediate help. Our airlift force in Europe had delivered medical supplies, a field hospital, rescue teams, and over 1,000 tons of food. The responsive airlift makes quickly available the most basic necessities to a people crushed by a cruel blow of nature. Salvaged ovens soon turn flour into bread for the hungry population. Out of chaos, men begin to regain order and to contemplate the work ahead. Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, the Shah of Iran, visits the Army's field hospitals and inspects the American aid base. Following the quake, the Shah flew from village to village, determining for himself the needs of each of the devastated communities. As the Iranian leader viewed the tent cities in which his countrymen would be sheltered, he commented that to rebuild the villages would take 15 years. With all the traditional stoicism of the Middle East, and with a friendly helping hand, the Iranian people pick up their shattered lives and begin on the long road back. The B-58 Hustler, with already a room full of trophies to its credit, takes off from the Air Force Flight Test Center aiming at still another world record. Convair-built B-58 starts its climb toward a new altitude record carrying an 11,000-pound payload. The existing record held by the Soviets, 50,252 feet. At peak trajectory, the Hustler hits 85,360 feet, making a shambles of the Soviet mark. Back at Edwards Air Force Base, the B-58 men seem to take their accomplishment in stride. After all, it's the 14th world record set by the supersonic B-58 since January 1961. Each new dramatic achievement of today's weapon systems and the crews which man them points to the aerospace strength of the United States Air Force. At New London, long famous for submarines, airmen board a special rescue compartment designed for the Texas Tower. These men will test the capsule, and their medical responses will be recorded as the Air Force makes final evaluation of the compartment before placing them aboard the offshore radar stations. The compartment, equipped with an oxygen system, food, and communication equipment, can accommodate 15 men for up to 15 days. The Texas towers off the Atlantic coast are situated in 90 to 120 feet of water. In the event of a storm, such as Hurricane Donna in 1960, when one tower was toppled, the crew could enter the compartment, and should the tower be lost, the crew could ride out the storm underwater and be sustained until help arrives. The capsule, sort of a submarine in itself, has a 20-ton concrete base as ballast. This would carry it to the bottom, away from a storm's battery. Special communications equipment, like sonar, would tell search vessels where the compartment is. Divers would then go down and survey the situation. If there were no obstructions to safe ascent, either the divers or the men inside could jettison the concrete base, and the compartment would bob to the surface. We're about to see a test of the compartment's free ascent in the Sound off Cape Cod. The test an unqualified success, and now the compartments are aboard the Texas Towers, adding to the safety margin of airmen who stand radar skywatch on those lonely steel islands far at sea. Falcon Stadium at the Air Force Academy. Scene of the Oregon Academy football clash and ceremonies dedicating the new $3.5 million home of the Falcon varsity. The dedication begins as Chief of Staff General LeMay gives the podium to film star and Reserve Brigadier General James Stewart, who acts as Master of Ceremonies. Today culminates 8 years of hard work by the Air Force Academy Foundation, which envisioned the 40,000-seat stadium as a major goal in attaining recreational, cultural, and aesthetic facilities for the Academy not available through appropriated funds. In its fundraising campaign, the foundation received $2,200,000 from members of the Air Force alone, with another $1,700,000 donated from civilian sources. To make the dedication official, the Secretary of the Air Force, Eugene Zucker, unveils the dedicatory tablet, while General LeMay and other officials complete the formal ceremonies. stadium rises as game time approaches. 33,000 spectators on hand, including the entire cadet wing. The Falcons and the Web Feet bring identical 3-1 records into the game. Despite a 14-14 halftime tie, and running like this by halfback Dick Zanota, the Falcons can't couple their stadium dedication with a victory, despite a determined effort. The game goes to Oregon, 35-20. But the soaring spirit of the Falcons cannot be dampened in their sparkling new home. Langley Air Force Base, home of Tactical Air Command. And from this command post comes direction for the swift-reacting Composite Air Strike Forces, the firemen of the free world. TAC's commander, General Walter Sweeney, and his staff direct from this newly modernized central point the movement of the fighter bombers, troop carrier aircraft, and other elements of this highly versatile aerospace force. 6 projection screens on the wall of the command post can present the latest tactical information. And behind the scenes, rapid changes are made in briefing material. The team of airman experts keeps the information current and flowing swiftly to the tactical planners. The latest intelligence information is presented. Current weather over any part of the world is analyzed by experts on the spot. An elaborate communication system terminates here, which assures last-minute data to invoke immediate response. When all data is analyzed, the call may be given to move the forces to any point in the world at jet speed. Crises have proved how effective tactical air forces are in preserving the peace through swift reaction. And its allies are in jeopardy. Tactical air forces will be on the move in the interest of universal freedom.